right, my secondary math 2 class. Today we are going to be doing our review notes. Okay, that means next time will be your test. Okay, so we are going to be reviewing factoring today, which has to do with, we'll do some FOIL and the box method, as well as some greatest common factor stuff. Okay, so for numbers 1 and 2, it's asking us to find the product. Whenever you see product, you think multiply. Okay, we are multiplying whenever it says find the product. Okay, well, when we're multiplying these guys, we learned 2 methods to multiplying them. Okay, so we learned FOIL and we learned the box method. Okay, so we'll use each of those methods on one of these guys. Okay, so for number 1, let's use FOIL. Okay, so if I'm using FOIL, the F in FOIL stands for first. Okay, my first terms in my binomials, 5x times 7x, and we're going to multiply those together. Okay, well, 5 times 7 is going to give me 35. I had 2 x's being multiplied together, so x squared, 35x squared. Okay, the O in FOIL stands for outside. Okay, outside terms are 5x times negative 1. Okay, well, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. There was 1x being multiplied, so negative 5x. Okay, the I in FOIL stands for inside. So my inside terms, negative 8 and 7x. Okay, so negative 8 times 7, which I'm going to use my calculator, and it's totally fine if you do too, is going to give me negative 56. Okay, and there was 1x in those, so negative 56x. Okay, and the L in FOIL stands for last. So my last terms. So now I have negative 8 times negative 1. Okay, well, negative times a negative is a positive. 8 times 1 is 8. Okay, we're almost done. Our very last step is to combine like terms. Okay, a like term has to have the same variable, but it also has to be to the same power. So we cannot combine squared powers with just to the power of 1. So our only 2 terms we can combine are the 2 terms in the middle with just 1x. So what is negative 5 minus 56 more? We're getting more negative. Negative 5 minus 56 more is going to give me negative 61x. So we just combine those 2 guys in the middle to get negative 61x. Okay, bring down your 35x squared in front and your plus 8 in the back. And there is our product, our quadratic expression. Okay, for number 2, let's use the box method. Okay, so we'll do both of these methods so that you guys can choose on your test and on your review assignment what method works best for you. Okay, so with the box method, we draw our box with 4 squares. We're going to take our first binomial, which is 2x plus 5, and we're going to multiply, or put that on the top. Okay, then we're going to take our second binomial, 4x plus 8, and we're going to put that down the side. Okay, so we've just set it up so we can solve it now. Okay, so let's fill in our boxes. Our first box lines up with 2x times 4x. So what is 2 times 4? It's going to give me 8. I have 2 x's being multiplied, so x squared. Okay, that's our first box. Second box lines up with 5 times 4x. Okay, what is 5 times 4? It's going to give me 20. 1x attached, so 20x. Beautiful. Okay, our next box down here lines up with 2x times 8. What is 2 times 8? 16, 1x attached, so 16x. Okay, and our very last box lines up with 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is going to give me 40. Okay, so now I'm just going to take all my boxes and I'm going to rewrite them in the order that we solved them. Okay, so I get 8x squared plus 20x plus, because it's positive, okay, that's why I'm putting those addition signs, plus 16x and plus 40. Okay, very last step, because we're not quite done, we need to combine like terms. So the same thing here. My only terms that I can combine are the ones with just one x in them. So what is 20 plus 16? That's going to give me 36x in the middle plus 40 on the end. Make sure to put that positive in front of your 36, and 8x squared. And there is our product. Okay. For numbers 3 and 4, we are finding the GCF, or greatest common factor. Okay, greatest, biggest, common, number they have in common, factor, the number that can be divided evenly in them. Okay, so let's look at 15 and 60. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we're going to make a factor list for 15 and 60. Okay, so I know that 1 times 15 will give me 15. 2 doesn't go into 15. 3 does. 3 times 5. 4 does not go into 15. 5 does. We already have it, so we're done. So that's what our factor list looks like. Okay, now let's make a factor list for 60. I know 1 times 60. Okay, 60 is pretty big. 2 times 30. Okay, 3 goes into it. 3 times 20. 4 goes into it. 4 times 15. Okay, let's continue it over here. 5 times 12. 6 times 10. 7 doesn't go into 60. 8 doesn't. 9 doesn't. 10 does. We already have it, so we're done. Okay, so what is the biggest number that appears on both of these lists? Okay, let me split it up so we know that that's a list and that's a list. Okay, what's the biggest number that appears on both of those lists? Okay, 15 is the biggest number. So we know that our GCF is 15. Okay, well, how about a little trick? Okay, let's write this little trick down. This is really going to help you on your test. Okay, so our trick is to see if you take the smaller one, divide it by the bigger one, if it's even. Okay, actually bigger one divided by smaller one. Okay, so bigger one, 60, divided by the smaller one, 15. Do we get a whole number? Okay, so if we were to put this in our calculator, okay, so I'm going to do 60 divided by 15. I do get a whole number. There's no decimals after. Okay, so if you do, that means that this guy is your GCF. If you get a whole number. Okay, awesome. So we know that the greatest common factor of 15 and 60 is 15. 15 goes into 15, 15 goes into 60. Okay, let's look at number 4. So now we need to make a list. Well, actually, let's check our trick first. Okay, just to see if we can save ourselves some time. Okay, so take the bigger one, 21, divided by the smaller one, 14, and let's see if we get a whole number. Okay, 21 divided by 14. Ooh, close, but we get 1.5. Okay, this is not a whole number, so no. That means that 14 is not our GCF. Darn it. So we are going to have to make some lists. That's okay. Okay, so let's make a factor list for 14 and for 21. Okay, so I know that for 14, 1 times 14, okay, it's even, so 2 times 7. Okay, 3 doesn't go into 14, 4 doesn't, 5 doesn't, 6 doesn't, 7 does. We already have it, so we're done. Okay, let's do 21. 1 times 21. It's not even, so 2 does not go into it. What about 3? 3 does. 3 times 7. Okay, 4 doesn't, 5 doesn't, 6 doesn't, 7 does. So we are done. Okay, what is our GCF? What is the biggest number that appears on both of those lists? 7 and 7. Okay, so we know that our GCF, or greatest common factor, for 14 and 21 is 7. Beautiful. Okay, we're basically doing the same things here, except the only difference is there's an addition or maybe a subtraction sign in the middle of these two numbers, these two pairs. Okay, well, let's look at number 5. It's asking us to factor the common factor out of each expression. Okay, so what do they have in common? So let's look at -5 and +5. Okay, what do they have in common? What do they share? -5 and +5. Okay, we can factor out a 5. They both have a 5 in there. Okay, so that's our GCF. Now what's inside is left over, or what do we get when we divide it? Because factoring means dividing. Okay, in fact, let's make that note on our paper. Okay, just like when it asks us to find the product, factor means to divide. Okay, so let's take -5 divided by a +5. -5 divided by +5 is going to give me -1. Okay, can we factor out an x? Did they both have an x? No. Okay, so we cannot factor out that x. That x is not in common. Okay, so -1x is left over on that guy. Okay, what is left over when 5 is divided by 5? What's 5 divided by 5? That's going to be a +1. Okay, so that's our answer, but I want us to label a few things. Okay, so point to the 5. This guy is your GCF. Okay, what they have in common. Okay, this guy in the parentheses is what's left over. Okay, so that's our final answer. What's on the outside is what they have in common. What's on the inside of our parentheses is what's left over. Okay, so let's look at number 6. So let's just look at their coefficients first. Our 4 and -4. Whoops, sorry, just bump the camera. 4 and -4. What do they have in common? 4 and 4. Don't overthink it. It's 4. They have a 4 in common. Okay, do they have an x in common? No, they don't. Okay, so we know that that x is going to stay inside. Okay, well, let's take 4 divided by 4. What are we going to get here? 4 divided by 4. It's going to give me a 1. Okay, since we couldn't take that x out, that x stays there. Do we need that 1 next to that x? 1 times x is just going to be x, right? So technically, we don't need to write that 1. That's okay. Okay, what is -4 times +4? -4 times +4. That's going to give me a -1. Okay, no x is attached there. So that's our final answer. Okay, remember 4 is our GCF, what they had in common. Inside our parentheses is what's left over. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so 7 through 10, this is going to be a huge portion of your review today and your test, because this is super important in secondary math 2. Okay, so we're factoring the quadratic. Okay, so whenever we're factoring the quadratic, so let's look at our quadratic expression. That just means an expression with the highest degree of 2. Okay, so we always look at the number that's on the end. Okay, always look at that first. So we need factors of 20. What multiplies to give me 20, but is going to add to give me positive 12? Okay, so let's just make a factor list, just like we were doing on numbers 3 and 4. So 1 and 20. 1 times 20 will give me 20, but 1 plus 20 gives me 21. Nope, that's not 12. Okay, maybe 2. 2 times 10 will give me 20. What is 2 plus 10? Ooh, ding, 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 positive 12. We got it. Okay, so once you've found your two numbers that give you your middle coefficient, all we got to do is write our two parentheses sets. Okay, variable in the front. Okay, so this time it's an x, so x and x. And now you just put your two numbers. Okay, you must put their sign though. This is a positive 2, so plus 2. Positive 10, so plus 10. And there is our answer. We factored it. Okay, let's look at number 8. Okay, because number 8 is just a little bit different. So look at the last number, last coefficient. This is actually a constant. Okay, we need factors that give me a negative 56. Okay, well, in order to get a negative, we have to multiply a positive by a negative. Okay, so for example, we would need to multiply positive 1 times negative 56 to give me a negative 56. Okay, we need these two numbers to equal negative 1. Okay, well, let's see. 1 minus 56 is going to be negative 55. That's not even close. Okay, but let's keep trying. Okay, it's even, so 2, 56 divided by 2, so 2 times negative 28 will give me negative 56. 2 times negative 28 is going to give me negative 26. Definitely not. Okay, let's keep trying. It's 56. Can 4 go into 56? Yep. 4 times negative 14 is going to give me negative 12. We're kind of getting closer, still not there. Okay, what about 6? 56 divided by 6. Whoops. Nope. 56 divided by 7. Ooh, 7 goes into 56. Okay, 7 times negative 8. Remember, it has to be negative to give me a negative 56. 7 minus 8 is going to give me negative 1. Yay, we found it. Okay, so we found our two answers. Okay, so all we got to do, write your two parentheses sets. Put your variable in front. This time it's an n, and n. Okay, one is a plus 7 for positive 7. One is a minus 8 for negative 8. And there is our factored answer. Okay, two more. Number 9. So look at your last number. Negative 27. So we need, again, one needs to be positive, one needs to be negative to give me negative 27. We need these to add up to be positive 6. Okay, well, let's just start trying things. 1 times negative 27. Okay, that's going to add to 1 minus 27, which is negative 26. Definitely not. Okay, it's not even, so we can't divide it by 2. What about 3? 3 times negative 9. Okay, 3 minus 9 is going to give me negative 6. Ooh, close. We want a positive 6. Okay, not quite though. But in order to get a positive 6, we can go like this. What about negative 3 times a positive 9? Okay, that's going to give me positive 6. And there's our answer. Those are our two numbers. Okay, we found it. So once you found it, go ahead and write your two parentheses sets. Okay, put your variable in front. This time it's an r, and r. One is minus 3, one is plus 9. And there's our answer. Perfect. Okay, last example. So look at your last number. This time it's a positive 12. Okay, we need numbers that multiply to positive 12, but this time add to negative 8. What in the world? How do we multiply to get a positive but add to get a negative? Okay, well, we can multiply a positive and a positive, like 1 times positive 12. Okay, but we can also multiply a negative times a negative to give me positive, right? Okay, so let's try those. 1 plus 12, that's 13. Nope. This is negative 13, so nope. Okay, but let's keep trying. Okay, what about 2 times 6? That'll give me 12, or what? That will give me 12. When added together, 2 plus 6 will give me 8. Positive 8. Ooh, close. We're looking for negative 8. Okay, well, what about negative 2 and negative 6? Because a negative times a negative still gives me a positive.
Heather Hefner, if you're in the building, please call the main office. Heather Hefner, call 65604.
Sorry, I can never focus and talk through those. Okay, well, positive times a positive gives me a positive, but a negative times a negative also gives me a positive. Okay, so negative 2 and negative 6, or minus 6, will give me negative 8. So we found it. Okay, we found our two numbers. So go ahead and write your parentheses set. Put your variable in front. This time it's m. Okay, m minus 2 for negative 2, m minus 6 for negative 6. And there's our answer. Okay, those are your notes for today. They will help you on your review assignment as well as your test next time, which you can use your notes on.